Welcome back to Restauranttopia. Get ready for this. You're going to love it. Who is your circle of five? Dave Ross is putting together some fire today. Get ready for your ears to be delighted. I got Anthony here ready to spit some fire and some disagreements. Let's do it, guys.
Imagine a perfect world where you can build a restaurant, open the doors, and make loads of money. Unfortunately, those days are over. It takes great leadership, hard work, and long hours to operate a successful restaurant. Together, we can make it happen. This is Restauranttopia.
All right.
Thank you, Brian. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to spit fire, as you say. I didn't feel that way, but then you just pumped me up, so now I'm ready.
Good. No,
I appreciate that.
I know what you got.
Coming in hot.
Yeah, I'm going to dig deep, drink more of this coffee.
So you've probably heard the phrase, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Of
course.
You guys have heard that before?
Yeah.
And kind of, and your mom probably told you when you were a kid,
Oh, you're hanging around the wrong crowd.
if you keep hanging around those kids, you're going to be just like them.
Birds of a feather.
Birds of a feather. That's
right.
another good one. That's not a good one.
No, trouble adjacent.
Trouble adjacent.
That's
I
what
like
I
that.
tell my son that.
Yeah. That's actually pretty good. I like that. That's,
I'm just impressed that your kid knows what adjacent means.
well,
My
he
kid would
taught
stare
him.
at me blankly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's some other coaching involved in
Yeah,
that.
now I'm hoping he does. Now, like,
It's like he goes to his friends. My dad always says trouble adjacent. I have no idea what he's talking
no,
about.
who's this adjacent guy?
Yeah, then when the definition hits him, like, wait, beside. I'm beside you. Oh, shit, you're bad.
Yeah. The circle of five is what I want to talk about today. And what this came from was a Jim Rome quote he made famous, several years ago. You are the average of the five people that you spend the most time with. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what he meant by that is anytime you're talking about averages or the law of averages, the results of any given outcome, will be the average of all outcomes. That's basically what it is. So if you've got, the five people around you and you're the sixth, okay, if you're spending a lot of time in that group, whether it be all five or six together, or you're just spending individual time with those five people in your ecosphere, you tend to pick up and start acting and thinking and behaving like those people. It's nature. It's the law of averages. It happens through.
Do you know what I always found fascinating, and I'm going to back your point up by this, is when you hang out with someone for long enough and you end up start using the words that they use.
Use the phrases.
It happens all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
But that's the tip of the iceberg. What you're actually doing is you're starting to think like them. Your moral code is like them. The things that you are interested is like them.
Yeah.
So, you're either gravitated towards someone because of their belief system and their worldview and their character and their conduct. How that reflects back on you, it just happens.
Yeah. You start picking up stuff in the group of people you're around. And a good example is think about when you were younger, let's say, college, high school, like whatever it was, when maybe you were out having a little bit of fun and maybe you were going to the bars and doing stuff, and that was the people you were hanging around, right? Let's say you get older, okay, and you find a significant other and maybe you start a family. That dynamic changes because your people that you're around change and your responsibilities change and your life is just another stage of life.
But I also want to take this opportunity to be like, and not be preachy, but you have the opportunity to choose your circle of five. I think so often that we feel like it just was destiny that we just put into this group, or that the people that you choose to spend time with is just mandatory. It's not. Make sure that the people in your life are amazing human beings, and your life will change for the better. The way you think, the way you act, the things that are important to you will change. If you're hanging around the same doofus you knew from high school, who is not a good person and is talking about glory days all the time, you're better than that. That's not fun. That gets so old. Or if someone's gossiping, or the constant talk is negativity, cut that out of your life. This is your opportunity to do some house cleaning on your friends. And no one talks about it, but this is the opportunity for you to really be self-reflective, have intellectual honesty with yourself, and kick some friends out of the group.
I heard a quote yesterday, and it was, you have to be ruthless with self-care. And I love that.
That's so true. I love
Listen,
that.
man, we have a finite amount of time on this planet.
Right.
If you're struggling with thinking you're listening to this and you're like, you know what, he's negative and he's this and he's that, but I can't do anything about it. This is my best friend. This is a guy I grew up with, whatever. It doesn't have to be a light switch, but you got to figure out how to start pulling back and pulling away and not being available and doing that. And it doesn't have to be in a mean, it doesn't have to be in a mean way. It doesn't have to be something that puts Joe down, because that's not the point of this. It's about you. It's not about Joe. It's about you. Don't make it about Joe.
It's not
you,
it's me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
Yeah.
If going out every Monday night, getting blackout drunk is your thing, maybe that's because of your friends that that's what they do, and maybe you don't have to go every Monday night. Like maybe that's not your thing, or you can go home early. Or again, self-care is so important, and I love that idea of the finite nature of the amount of time we have on this planet, because I'll tell you what, if you're in a toxic relationship or your friends aren't lifting you up and there's negativity, some of that stuff is a cancer and you got to cut out. Now, I might be sounding harsh, but this is a time for you to be self-reflective. We're post-pandemic here. Today's the first day of the rest of your life.
Well, we said it time and time again, the pandemic's a great excuse, right?
Yeah.
It's a great reset, as we said, as Julie said, and just blame it on that. Easy peasy. But you're right. So this is hard, man, because you have these people and say their DOA is going out on a Monday night and you slog through it because they're the friend group you want to be with. You're liked, you like them. At what point do you just like put your foot down and say, you know what, like they're going left, I need to go right? How do you do that?
You have to be self-reflective. You have to look within. You have to be aware of what's going on. Life is not happening to you. You are happening to life. I mean, you have to really push back. And like, again, if everyone else is doing it, that's also another time to be reflective and be like, maybe that's not the best idea.
Yeah.
And life's about habits too. Sometimes it's not always the people, it's just the habitual nature of what happens. So if you know that every Monday, it's a little bit slower and you're getting off work early and you got 2 or 3 people at work and it's always straight to the bar and Tuesday morning's a rough morning. And every Tuesday morning you go, God, I don't want to do that again. But then you do it again on Monday. Because it's just, I mean, how often does that happen? We're like, I'm not going to do that. And then
I've said I'll never drink again at least 500 times.
Yeah. So it's the habitual nature of the human being. We create habits, So now if you want to break that type of cycle and habit, you have to create other habits to either overtake that, correct it, replace it, whatever it is, you have to create habits, So again, I wasn't even going to go into this, but there's an unbelievable book that changed my life. It's called Atomic Habits. So pick up that book. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. That's all it is. So I want to give like real quick. We did this in episode 6. I recorded an episode for a different podcast on a theory called the game of life. And so I want to give the listener a little bit of insight into when you're looking at those 5 friends. Here's 4 quick bullet points that you can go through and kind of. And again, I don't want to get into like we're rating people, but we kind of are. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to get into like it's a scaling system and this person's not good, and it's not really about that. Remember, it's about you. It's not about this person. So, but if you go through and just rate it on these 4 areas, I think you'll get a good insight into where you stand currently and where you want to be.
But there's a method to it that you can put down on paper and analyze and really look at, where it's not just like, I don't like the fact that he, likes the Patriots. It's deeper than that.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you the game of life. So the game is an acronym: gratitude, attitude, mindset, and joy. So real quick, gratitude. So are the people around you, are they grateful? Are they grateful for opportunities? Are they grateful for things they receive? Are they grateful for things they don't receive? Do they feel blessed? And have that gratitude. When you do something for them, do you feel gratitude coming back at you? Or when you do something for them, do you feel nothing? Does it seem like for them it's like assumed? So and these people, like you probably talked about it. Like, I can't believe like I buy this guy a beer every week and he doesn't even say thank you. You know what I mean? Like, you've seen that in your life. So where do they rate on that gratitude? And the next step is attitude. Okay. This one's a little more clear cut and understandable, but it's positive or negative attitude. Is your conversations with these people tend to be more about what's wrong and problems and gossip about people? You talk about gossip. I feel that goes right into negativity. Because you don't typically gossip about positive things.
No.
We don't sit here, Anthony and I don't, talk on Fridays on the drive home like, man, Brian is such a good guy and, he really treats his family well and he takes care of, and we might say that, but that's not gossip. I mean, that's not like done. And, so that's attitude. So, what are the attitudes of the people, or are they positive? Are they focusing on the positive? Mindset. Gratitude and attitude flow right into mindset. So what are they focused on? What do they do in their life? Do they have a routine of positivity and a routine of gratitude? And is their mindset on solutions, making things better, and those types of things?
And making themselves better and the people around them better.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's important to me.
Yeah.
So have you guys done this before?
Yeah.
Like on purpose, like, diligently, like consciously? Because, I phased out friends in life where I've just kind of taken, like, I've not thought about it, but I'm like, okay, look, this person's not bringing any equity into my life. And I have a couple people in mind right now that were long-standing friends from growing up, and it was just kind of you drift away. But it was never a strategy. It was never really conscious thought. I never had a pragmatic plan behind it. So have you guys practiced this before?
Well, I think.
Can you name names?
But you've. But you.
I can name one. There's some court paperwork that got rid of one of them.
that there used to be 4 people on this podcast, but
There's about to be 2.
yeah. No, I can't tell you that I've gone through this strategy, but just like you've done, like I guess what I'm doing is I'm trying to give like a pragmatic, systematic, easy way for somebody to get started on this. And even if they don't do it this way, it again, I'm setting somebody's mind, hopefully, up for, okay, here's the things, you know what I mean? And like, listen, we're all intelligent human beings and people. And like when you leave an interaction with a person, how you felt. And again, habits for whatever reason or circumstances bring you back into that person's life. But are you going to continue to do that? It's not that they're bad people. It's about you. Focus on you. You know what I mean? And this isn't about bashing other people. This is about focusing on yourself.
No, and it's not about what you can get out of the person either. Like the person is benefiting you, not monetarily, or you're a social climber or something like that. The person is inherently a good human being, which will in turn make you a better human being. That's what it's about to me.
Yeah, and then the last part of game is enjoy. Is this person having fun? Are they, are they enjoying life? Do they have these other gratitude, attitude, mindset set up so they can completely enjoy life? So that's kind of like, if that helps anybody, get that set in their mind. So again, if you're focused on the game, when you're looking at those 5 people in your life, where do they rate? And then if again, you're the average. So I'm not saying everybody's got to be above you to keep going up, but you should be the essence of this, I feel, is there should be people pulling you up in the way that they act and think and do things. And then there's people you should be pulling up. The group should continue to climb.
No, and I think that is truly how it works. I know with my life and my personal reset, like this is so profound because it affects every aspect of your life, every aspect of your day. To me, it's just amazing. What's
fascinating too is this is very parallel to what professional athletes go through. You see this all the time on the documentaries, especially the ones where they talk about flippantly spending money and losing all their cash and fortune. There's been 30-30s and E60s and whatever the case. But these folks always talk about, listen, ditch your friends because these friends are just trying to pull you down, trying to pull your money, blah, 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 and reassociate yourself with a different social circle because you've climbed out of that one. Now, there's something to be said about allegiance and there's something to be said about loyalty, and that's all well and good. But again, you got to look at the equity balance here. What are they bringing in versus what are they taking out? And a lot of times you'll find that people have a tendency to take more than they give. And that'll drag you down.
Yeah. I think the word there, and I've heard that a million times, and I agree with you. But the word friend, that's where you need to evaluate. Is that person your friend? If, in the athlete analogy, if they're putting you in harm's way, are they, buying 13 bottles on your account at the club?
Yep.
Are they, what are they doing to be, quote unquote, your friend? If someone's a taker, I hate that. That just, to me, everything in my being is just repulsed by someone who's a taker. I always like to give more than I take, and I think a lot of people are like that, and I will like to surround myself with people like that.
Yeah, for sure. So how does this affect your restaurant? Okay, so we're talking to you as a restaurant operator. The first thing I want to talk about is perception's reality. No different than if there's any parents out there, you come to a realization at some point in your kids' young lives that they're watching everything you're doing. And the first time your son or daughter, says the F word, you're like, where did they get that?
Oh, who?
But on the 107th time,
yeah. But I'm saying, like, there comes a point in realization, it's like a snap. You're just like, okay, they're absorbing like a sponge everything that's happening.
It's so funny you said that. My son got glasses, and he just got them the other day, and he spent, my wife says, about 40.
Look adorable in glasses.
Oh, yeah, he's kind of the man. Yeah. Thank you. He's rocking these glasses, and I'm like, Neek, you got glasses, man. That's amazing. He goes, yeah, Dad, I picked out the ones just like yours. And it's like, dang. And you forget how powerful that is. And then think back when I was a kid, I remember very vividly telling kids in my class that my dad's so strong he can stop a semi truck with one. I'm not shitty. This is a story I told. He could stop an 18-wheeler with one hand, And they're like, "Oh yeah, my dad's so strong he can do this." Yeah. And I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forget I'm under a microscope constantly.
Yeah. No, and so
in the best of possible ways, by the way.
Yeah, no, best and worst. I mean, listen, when you make mistakes and you do things wrong and you handle things, they're looking, they're watching. Okay, so I think people get confused that, like, once you turn 18 or once you become an adult and all these things, like it changes. This doesn't change. Like, so if you're a leader in your restaurant, think of this the same way. There's people that are looking up to you as the owner, the manager, whatever it is.
You walk on water, essentially.
You know what I mean?
This goes back to your role model, whether you like it or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
That's true.
And so again, it's the same thing. Like, what are you doing? What are they seeing in you? What's their perception of their leader? Is that somebody that they want in their circle of five? Is that somebody that they want to look up to? Is that somebody that they want to have a relationship with? You know what I mean? So
And they're looking at your friends in your circle of five.
sure.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
as a chef or a leader, I
Yeah.
knew exactly who was in what cliques, and I had some sort of prejudgment before you even came to the negotiating table or the employee review. I can tell a lot about you by who you associate with out back, how you interact, you know, who you're bonding with on the line, so on and so forth. I have opinions of these people, and then wherever you float around, like it kind of sways my opinion of you.
No, exactly. So, but let's talk about that a little deeper. So, is you as a manager, is that fair for you to evaluate this person based on somebody else? And like topically, probably not. It's probably not fair because this is an individual person.
Yeah.
Of course.
Now, flip the table around. You're that person.
Yeah.
Do you want to have that perception?
So if the answer
You know what I mean?
is
Like-
if the answer is yes, I'll keep hanging out with him. If the answer is no,
Right,
I
correct,
got to
correct,
evaluate.
right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. So that's what it is, and I think you know we could talk about this forever, but I think you know this is resonating. The other thing in the restaurant industry is who else? If you're an operator, you're the owner, you're the manager, whatever you are, whatever position you hold, who are you associating with in the industry? Okay. When you look at local independent operators, it's kind of a band of brothers a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure. Yeah.
you know, sure, there's some competitiveness and there's some things out there and you got in this business for a reason and, you know, but there's enough business to go around. So what other people in the industry locally in your community or in the state or whatever are you seeking out or are you already friends with and keeping in touch with, and maybe you don't see them all the time, but you're talking about the business, like those people, again, part of your circle of five that should be either pulling you up or you should be helping pull them up. Do you ever try to pick up your kid and they don't want to get picked up? It's like the
Yeah,
little
Nico
thing.
weighs
Like-
85 pounds. I'm not picking him
no,
up. Yeah, he's
I'm-
like a lead ball.
But if you had a normal sized kid, can you imagine?
Yeah, Isabella was small. when she was- yeah.
But you ever like you go to pick them up and they just do that?
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah,
right?
and it's frustrating. They just slip out. And their,
Oh my
their
god, it's the
shirt
worst.
comes
you know,
up.
or
and
you
yeah.
end up with a limb, and then you're like, oh my god, did that come out of the socket? Like, what happened?
It's so true. I'm glad you said that.
Again, I go back to like pulling up. Okay, so but when they hold tight, got their frame, you pick them up, no problem. So when
Easy
somebody's
peasy.
pulling you up and you're holding tight, you're holding on, you're going with them, right? It's the same thing on the way down when you're pulling somebody up. If they're a limp noodle, let go, leave them. But if they're grabbing strong and holding on, pull that sucker up, man. Pull them up
Yeah.
into the five.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I had no idea where you're going with that, but that is such a spot on analogy.
That's good.
Yeah, that was great. How long did it take you to think of that?
I literally, it just came in my brain right
Stop.
now.
Are
I
you
swear to
serious?
God.
I love it.
But
As
you
I was
like-
doing this and this, it came in my brain.
I
Just
don't
right
know
now, I
what
swear
book
to
you
God.
read. You become Confucius, and by the way, I bought Atomic Habits while you were talking like 5 minutes ago because it'll be
Love
here
it.
tomorrow.
I was wondering why you're being so rude on your phone. But
Yeah, no, I had to buy that book
appreciate
before.
that.
Yeah, I had to buy the book.
And we're not saying leave people behind either. You can still be in people's life, and maybe
Yeah.
maybe you pull them back in your circle of five in 2 years.
when they straighten up.
Well, when they straighten up or when they decide that
maybe
they,
they're
they
going to
want.
see your example.
Yeah,
They're going to
yeah.
decide, you know what? Like, okay, I perceive Anthony spending less time with me.
Yeah.
He's not available, all these things. And then I see where he's going and I go, man, like, I want that.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
How-
That could happen or it might not.
Yeah, how
Again, this episode should probably be retitled "It's About You, Not Them."
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like that. You know what I mean? Because I want to just make sure I'm not bashing any individual.
Oh.
This is about you, and at some point, you got to be selfish in your life
Mm-hmm.
to understand you got this amount of time to do something great, and you can't waste it.
No, nursing homes are filled with regret.
Wow.
You have to look at yourself and say, all right, when I call someone, are they excited to hear from me? And you have to be self-reflective. And, you know, are you bringing value to the friendship? Are you a taker or are you not a taker? And that's really what it is. Are you?
That's another great test you should add. Like when the phone rings and you look at the caller ID and you hesitate, or you
How
go,
do you feel? Right.
Yeah.
Or when you look at the caller ID and you go, hey, what's up, Brian? How you doing, buddy? You know what I mean? Like,
Or-
there's a difference.
You're right about that hesitation point because if you're not excited to talk to him, then why are you associated with him so closely? But we have this emotional connection, and I think that's part of the human
Yeah.
flaws. That emotions, and we talked about this in decision making in business too, and friendships runs even deeper. It's really difficult to sever that or analyze that or make some sort of decision, with that influence. It's tough.
And a listener out there that's on the fence like you on that point,
Yeah.
hang up the phone. So do the test full boat. Analyze how you feel when you see the person calling, talk to them, and then hang up the phone, and then be self-reflective. How do you feel?
Yeah.
Do you feel like the person took energy or gave energy? Do you feel sad or happy? Or do you feel that person is better because of talking to you and that you're better for talking to them? So analyze that relationship.
No, for sure. I also feel like the most successful people, and success can be defined a bunch of ways. I don't want to get into that conversation, but people that have success in their life typically, at least from what I've found in my experience, want to help others. They want to be that person that pulls them up. They want, so when you have an opportunity to be around that type of person, take advantage of it. Yeah. If the opportunity is there, and if that's something you want to emulate, or somebody you want to be, or you want that person in your circle of five, make sure that because I think you'll be surprised. Somebody maybe you idolize, that how welcoming they would be to have you in their circle.
We talked about this like last week. We talked about mentors going fishing, right? And there was someone that gave you some homework, and you said, I'm going to do this homework and come back to them. And I was like, that's funny, because they're throwing out the bait to see if you'll take the bait. And if you take the bait, then you're worthy of the mentorship,
Yeah. And
that's so funny and true.
And we could have took that first meeting as like, oh my God, this guy, like, we're so grateful and happy that he had breakfast with us, and then just never, we just talk about that. That's the glory. Like, oh, I can't believe he spent an hour with us and had, broke bread. No, I want to be back with that guy and learn from him. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there was an obvious point, if you were paying attention in our conversation with him, where he said, hey, you do these couple things and we'll get back together.
Mm-hmm.
He literally said that you have to be receptive and open and be willing to take the criticism, willing to take the advice, and then do the push-ups.
Yeah,
and action.
And if we were sitting there thinking like, this guy's full of hot air, like this is no big deal, like but for us to think like that would be valuable and then not do something is a waste of our human resources. Mm-hmm. It absolutely is. If you get advice, if you get different things to do, like follow up on it, do it. Mm-hmm. Again, be that stronghold when somebody's trying to pull you up. Like, don't go limp. Be that stronghold and go up. Make connections at trade shows. There's local independent operators all over the country. You know what I mean? So when you go to trade shows, whether it be NRA or the Vegas show or whatever it is, as this world opens back up, thank God. But when we start seeing people, introduce yourself. Like, talk about their business. Stay in touch. Get emails. Get phone numbers. Like, you've got somebody in Kentucky that's running a similar concept to you in Ohio or wherever. Like, why not exchange menu ideas and exchange, like, and help each other out with how do we hire people better? How do we retain people? How do all those things?
Listen, don't even wait for trade shows. Sorry to interrupt. I mean, we have local organizations. I mean, you have Cleveland Independence, you got the Chamber of Commerce, you got the Hillcrest Customer Book, and all that jazz. I had to plug that one in there.
No, I love that. Or you
can order the Hillcrest Customer Book online.
Or free easy installments at $19.99. Call now.
Or you could share a podcast that you found
insightful,
or relevant to the industry.
Absolutely,
with three guys that pull each other up.
But if you're out there, please share our podcast. We're trying to help as many people as we can. This is an opportunity for you to connect with somebody. I would use it as a tool to say, hey, I listened to this. Brian could use a little work. Dave and Anthony are amazing. But I thought you would find it interesting and may be able to help your business.
So you're saying use the podcast as a tool to identify your circle of five. So if you like the podcast, give it to other people, and whoever else likes it, put them in your circle.
I like that. Or even better, you've got three here. You just
we just need two more.
You got three in your circle of
five. We need friends.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Weekly mental injections.
Yeah.
But and then the last point
sounds kind of dirty.
I know. As I was saying it, I was like, that's not gonna. I moved on quickly until you stopped me.
Sorry, I had to call it. Yeah,
that's okay. I know a good editor. The last point I wanted to make was, spend time and take care of your employees as well. You know what I mean? Like, again, pulling people up.
We can't say that enough, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? These people are helping your business run. They're dedicated to your life and your business. So spend time with them. Care about them personally. Ones that are maybe in higher positions that you want actually in your circle of five, that you want to actually be part of your personal life and things like that, do that. I mean, I think that's important, and it helps retain and keep those things running.
As obvious as that is, I still see it all the time. I still hear about it all the time in certain social media groups and things of that nature. You'd be surprised how many operators out there don't pay attention to their employees. It's staggering.
It is staggering. But also, identify your employees, and maybe this is an aside, maybe it's not a circle of five, but you want your employees to be successful, because if you don't, they will leave you or go on their own and do their own opportunity. It's much better to have a partner and a teammate. If it's a new concept or what it is, maybe a little bit of risk there. But if this is an amazing human being, you want that person in your life forever. So, field ways, again, to make the relationship more sticky by doing businesses with them or growing or letting them, become a partner in an operation. Like, honor that friendship by giving them opportunities.
Yeah, and it comes back to like people don't leave companies, people don't leave restaurants, they leave people. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Show them the appreciation, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, but this is it, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I got, guys. Circle
I love
5.
it.
It's about you. It's not about them.
That's great. Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I think it's the most quiet I've ever been because I've been reflecting the whole time. Like, shit, where's my 5? Who's my 5? How am I going to do this? Like,
No,
thanks, Dave.
everyone should be. Thank you, guys.
Cool.
That's some good pod. Hey, this is a high quality pod. Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Adios.
Thank you for listening to Restaurantopia. The gratitude that we have for each and every one of you spending your precious time to listen to this podcast is immeasurable. Please make sure to tell a friend about this podcast. And also, if you have any feedback for us, visit us on restaurantopia.com and drop us a line. You can also subscribe on your favorite place to listen to podcasts. Thank you and have a great day.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Hillcrest Food Service. If you are a local independent restaurant and are looking for a distributor who has chef and operational consulting, provides marketing support, does menu reviews, and most importantly, wants you to be successful, reach out to Hillcrest Food Service at hillcrestfoods.com.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Okay.
You just mentioned SEO. I was just giving you an example. When
Yeah,
I
yeah.
Googled Circle
Okay.
of 5 last night, it didn't come up anything even close to what we're going to talk about. So
Okay, perfect.
SEO purposes, we might want to name the
Yeah.
episode something different. But
Yeah, and then we'll put the Jim Rohn quote in there so that
Exactly.
it crawls that. Okay. Are you kidding me? What are you doing? You're going to vacuum on my watch?
right now, you can't see us here with mics.
Go out and tell him to stop.
Oh,
Hey, I talked to Denise. She said you don't need to do that this morning.
yeah.
Who's Denise? I mean, Clara.
Karen.
Right?
No,
Bill?
that'd be too obvious.
Robert.
Joseph? Steve?